Hey, it's Ryan from Upfit Supply, and in this video we're going to be installing a Holman drop-down ladder rack on our RAM ProMaster cargo van. Let's get started. Okay, first things first, get your installation guide out of the box. It's fully illustrated, has a parts list on it, all of that. You're going to use that for your primary source of information. We're doing our best to follow that as well. Again, the manufacturer is going to have the best advice on how to install this. Before we get started, we're actually going to be doing a little bit of bench prep before we get onto the van, because it's a little bit easier just to assemble this on a bench or somewhere outside the van before we get on top of it and start assembling this thing together. So there's just a couple of steps I want to do here on the bench first, then we'll go out to the van and install the rest of the parts. So the first thing you want to do is grab your forward mounting feet like this, and there's going to be 4 steel little, I don't know what you call them, nuts or something like that. Then you're going to get your 2, 4, 6, 8 of these small little button head screws, and we're going to be just sliding these into place, and there's 2 little screw holes below here that we're going to be mounting these in place with. So that's all the prep that we have to do on the mounting feet. Again, the mounting feet and the actual drop-down ladder rack are 2 different SKUs, different parts. There's going to be the mount kit, which is going to be your feet and your mounting hardware to attach to the van. And then there's going to be the actual drop-down ladder rack kit, which is a different part number that attaches to those feet. So if you're looking at purchasing this, make sure that you're getting those mounting feet and you're getting the drop-down kit as well. Sometimes you can get it as a full package where it includes the mounting feet and that drop-down kit as one item that you can purchase, but just want to make sure that you get those mounting feet with it. Okay, up on top of the ProMaster, you're going to want to find the 2 forward locations. You've got these factory T-bolts right here that we're going to use to integrate into. And the way that you clamp onto these with these mounting feet is you actually have, there's this tab here kind of on the back. It makes a backwards L. It's going to be a backwards L because you're going to have that pointing towards the back. And then you come in here, and you're going to kind of clamp on it with this other bracket right here. Over here, like so. Then we're going to take our bolt and washers and go into those pre-threaded locations on the bracket. We're going to want some adjustment in here still. It's tight enough that it's not going to go anywhere, but not too tight where it's not going to have a little bit of wiggle room. Now I'm just going to do this driver side or passenger side first. Do the same thing on the driver's side, but for the sake of filming, do this side first. All right, while we're over here, we're going to go ahead and get our little track set up. And the way that this works is you actually put in 2 carriage bolts, slide them into the side on both the left and right side. And then these are going to slide into those little cutouts in the brackets there. And then we're going to use a washer and a lock nut on both sides to get this secured. All right, I'll go ahead and repeat this over on the driver's side. So now we're going to mount our forward feet on this rail. It's going to need 2 bolts per foot. And we're going to leave this loose for now because we do want to be able to adjust this. Now we're going to install the rear feet in a similar manner. We kind of create a clamp over this T-bolt. So this bracket is going to slide in that T, create a clamp over it. Next, we're going to measure the distance here between our rear foot and this foot. We want 71.5 inches on center. Right there. And I'll go ahead and tighten this up. It's not moving around on us. Tighten this down, but give me the ability to move it a little bit if I need to. So now we have our front bow, crossbar, whatever you want to call it, on top of the vehicle. The way that you can tell the front from the rear is that the front one's going to have the little, I don't know if you can see that back here or not. The rear one's going to have a little circle on this one that you're going to mount the bar to. Go up to the front one, it's on the back side of the front, and your drop down is always going to be on the curb side or on the passenger side. So that gives you an idea of how to tell the front from the rear. Important thing about attaching this, making sure that it's centered on the vehicle. And when you attach this side, you actually rotate this out of the way so that you can access that bolt. Now, if you are installing this by yourself, you can kind of bring it up piece by piece like I am, or you can actually assemble this full thing on the ground, then lift it up onto the roof. So if you have like a forklift or strong people, you could do that as well, or you can kind of put it together on the roof. The pieces aren't quite as heavy. This is the aluminum kit, so it's not as heavy as the steel, but it's still heavy. Now again, like I mentioned, the rear is going to have this plate that's facing forward, matches a plate that's forward on the back side of the forward bow. So again, I'm going to start on tightening that one first so that I can get some leverage, lower this out of the way. Now I'm going to measure the distance in between these two plates. Should be 57. It is 57. So either be 57 or 80 something is another dimension. If you want this to be longer for longer extension ladders or whatever, you can mount that forward. It does include an additional bar in the kit so that you can extend this connection between the front and the rear. But we're just gonna go with this shorter distance for now. We can always change it pretty easily, loosen up some bolts there, move this forward, put our extension in, and so on. But we're gonna try this way first. All right, so now we're gonna attach this torque bar between the front and the rear system. So I do wanna adjust this front bow. I gotta bring it about half an inch to an inch closer. The nice thing about this being on a track, easily slide it forward. Same thing back here. Doing a bolt washer through the locations, another washer, and a lock nut. You know, this torque bar is secure in place. I'm just gonna take a measurement between the passenger and the driver's side of this crossbar and try and make sure that my measurements here line up, and I'm gonna use the actual mounting feet, I guess. Be a good point. That's going to be the same each side. 67. Gotta go forward a little bit. Now we're going to attach the end tube to the end of these. Now we're going to attach this actuator arm. We're going to go into this slot right here. There's already two bolts in there holding our spot, so we'll go ahead and remove those and reuse them. So now that we have the actuator attached, we can actually drop this down if you want, just to get an idea of what it looks like. And I want to show you real quick a couple of options for mounting our J-hooks. Basically, I have two positions. You have position 1, which is further inboard, position 2. So depending on the type of ladder, you can determine where you're going to mount these. So you can mount right here. There's kind of these studs already here. We've got the washer and the bolt on there already. So that's position 1. Position 2 is further inboard. Now, you can do, if you have an extension ladder that's straight, you can do them both in position 1 down here. Or if you have a step ladder where, it kind of angles outward, you know, you might do position 1 for the forward, and then position 2 up here to grab the top foot of that extension ladder, or the step ladder. Now, depending on the position you go with, you're gonna have your other stopper that's mounted on the crossbow up there. It's either gonna mount through this area, or mount through this area, depending on the direction you go. For us, we're gonna do them both at position 1, like this. So we're gonna have actually this mounted up on the crossbow. It's gonna stick through here once it's in place. Now, like I mentioned, this, I can't remember what it's called, ladder stopper or something. It's going to mount through this opening right here. If you were in position 2, it would mount through this one up here. Now, there is a slit right here in the top of the crossbow that you may or not be able to see that this little tab slides into. There's already a bolt in here. We just need to remove so that we can mount it in place. All right, so I'm just gonna leave this without the J-hook on there for now, so I can get a ladder on there and figure out where I'm gonna put it. Okay, with this dropped down all the way, I'm gonna test with an extension ladder. Now that I've got this in place, I'm gonna see what my J-hook needs to look like. Looks like I can do it at the lowest location. With that in place, we'll go ahead and test putting it back up. And that just about does it for the installation of this drop-down ladder rack from Holman on our RAM ProMaster. Now, if you're looking for this ladder rack or any other equipment to get your van ready for work, be sure to check us out at upfitsupply.com. And my name is Ryan, and have a good one.